There's a voicemail on my phone that I can't bring myself to delete. It's been 3 years. 3 years since I learned that some words, once left unsaid, stay unsaid forever. The voicemail is from my brother, from Thomas, from the person I loved most in this world and refused to speak to for the last 8 years of his life. Walter, it's me. I know you won't call back. I know you're still angry. But I need you to know something. I need you to know that And then it cuts off. Message time limit exceeded. I've listened to it 647 times. I've memorized every pause, every breath, every inflection. I've tried to imagine what came after that final I. Thomas died 4 days after leaving that message. Heart attack. 53 years old. Alone in his apartment. The neighbors found him 2 days later. 2 days he lay there, dead, undiscovered, unmissed, because I was too proud to answer his calls. Because I was too stubborn to forgive him. Because I was too certain that being right mattered more than being there. My name is Walter Breslin. I'm 56 years old. I had one brother. His name was Thomas. Was, past tense. And I have to live with the fact that the last words I ever said to him were spoken in anger. That I let 8 years pass in silence. That when he needed me most, I let it go to voicemail. Now he's gone, and I can't take it back. Thomas was 3 years older than me. Growing up, that felt like a lifetime. He was the big brother, the cool one, the one who knew things, who figured things out first, who blazed the trail I'd eventually follow. We shared a bedroom until I was 12. Bunk beds. He got the top bunk by default of age. I'd lie in the bottom bunk at night and listen to him breathe above me, listen to him shift and turn, and sometimes whisper down to me in the dark. You awake? Yeah. You scared of anything, Walt? Like what? I don't know. Dying? Getting old? Never amounting to anything? I was 9. I didn't think about those things yet, but Thomas did. Even at 12, he was already wrestling with the big questions, already worried about the future. I'm scared of Dad, I said instead. Thomas was quiet for a moment. Then, yeah, me too. Our father was a hard man, not abusive, not cruel, just hard. He worked construction, came home tired and dirty and short-tempered, drank too much on weekends, had expectations he never quite articulated, but somehow we were always failing to meet. He wanted sons who were tough, who didn't cry, who could take a punch and throw one back, who'd grow up to be men's men, whatever that meant. Thomas tried. God, he tried. He went out for football, made the team, sat on the bench most games, but wore that jersey like armor, proof that he was what Dad wanted. I didn't try, couldn't. I was smaller, quieter. I liked reading more than sports, liked drawing more than fighting. Dad was disappointed in me. I could see it every time he looked at me. Every time Thomas did something right and I did something wrong. Every time he'd shake his head and mutter something about his sensitive son. But Thomas never made me feel small, never made me feel less than. He'd defend me when kids at school called me names. He'd include me in things, even when his friends didn't want the little brother tagging along. Walt's coming, he'd say, and that was that. We were close, really close. The kind of close that only siblings who survive difficult childhoods together can be. We had each other's backs. We understood each other in ways nobody else did. He was my protector, my confidant, my best friend, and I was his. Until I wasn't. The trouble started with a girl. Not in the way you'd think. Not some competition over the same woman. Nothing that simple. Her name was Rachel. Thomas met her when we were in our 20s. He was 26, working as a mechanic. I was 23, just finished college, starting my first real job. Rachel was beautiful, the kind of beautiful that turned heads, but she was also kind, funny, smart, The kind of person who made you feel like the most interesting person in the room when she talked to you. Thomas was in love within a month. Completely, totally, helplessly in love. I'm gonna marry her, Walt. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm gonna marry this girl. And I was happy for him. Genuinely happy. Thomas deserved someone who saw him, who loved him, who made him light up the way Rachel did. They dated for 2 years, moved in together, talked about marriage, about kids, about the future they'd build. Thomas was working extra hours, saving money for a ring. He'd show me pictures from jewelry stores, ask my opinion on different styles. Which one do you think she'd like? That one, the simple one. Rachel doesn't strike me as flashy. Yeah, you're right. He was so excited, so full of hope, so certain that his life was finally coming together. Then he came home early one day, found Rachel in their bed with his best friend, Marcus, a guy he'd known since high school, a guy he trusted. The betrayal destroyed him, completely shattered him. He called me that night, 3 in the morning. I could barely understand him through the crying. She's gone. She's fucking gone, Walt. How could she do this? How could he do this? I drove to his place, found him on the floor of his living room, drunk, broken, surrounded by pictures of them that he'd torn down from the walls. I stayed with him for 3 days, called in sick to work, sat with him while he cycled through rage and grief and disbelief, made him eat, made sure he was okay. You'll get through this, I told him. I know it doesn't feel like it now, but you will. I loved her, I know. I was going to marry her, I know. But he didn't get through it. Not really, not in any healthy way. Thomas changed after Rachel. The brightness in him dimmed. He started drinking more, started isolating himself, pushed away the people who cared about him, including me. I'm fine, Walt. Stop checking on me. You're not fine. You're drinking yourself to death. So what? It's my life. It's my life too. You're my brother. I'm not going to watch you destroy yourself. Then don't watch. I tried to help him for 2 years. I tried. I'd call every week, visit when he'd let me, suggest therapy, suggest AA, suggest anything that might pull him out of the darkness he'd fallen into. But Thomas didn't want help. He wanted to drown. And there's no saving someone who's determined to go under. Then came the thing that broke us. The thing I couldn't forgive. Thomas borrowed money from me. $10,000. He said he needed it for rent. Said he'd fallen behind. Said he'd pay me back within 6 months. I gave it to him. Of course I gave it to him. He was my brother. Family. You help family. But he didn't use it for rent. He gambled it. Lost it all in 3 weeks, at a casino 2 hours outside of town. I found out when his landlord called me. Said Thomas was being evicted. Said he hadn't paid rent in 4 months. Said he'd listed me as an emergency contact. I confronted Thomas, showed up at his apartment. The place was a disaster. Empty bottles, unpaid bills, the look of someone who'd given up. You lied to me. He didn't even try to deny it. Just shrugged. Yeah, I lied. I gave you $10,000. Money I'd been saving. Money I needed. And you gambled it away? I thought I could win it back. Turn it into more. Pay you back and have enough to get my life together. That's not how gambling works, Thomas. That's not how any of this works. I know that now. Do you? Do you really? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you don't give a shit about yourself, about me, about anyone. He looked at me then, really looked at me, and I saw something in his eyes. Something broken, something pleading. I'm drowning, Walt. I don't know how to stop. And I should have helped him. Should have said, then let me throw you a rope. Let me help you. Let me be your brother. But I was angry. So angry. Angry about the money. Angry about the lies. angry about watching him self-destruct for 2 years and feeling helpless to stop it. So, instead, I said, then drown. I'm done. I'm done bailing you out. I'm done watching you throw your life away. I'm done with all of it. Walt, don't, I mean it. Don't call me. Don't ask me for anything. I gave you everything I could, and you threw it away. So you're on your own now. Please, you're my brother. Yeah, well, you should have thought about that before you lied to me. I walked out, got in my car, drove away, and I didn't look back. That was 8 years ago. 8 years of silence. 8 years of Thomas calling and me not answering. 8 years of him trying to reach out and me staying cold. He'd leave voicemails sometimes. In the beginning, they were apologetic. Walt, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I know I messed up. I know I hurt you. Please just call me back. Let me make this right. I'd delete them without listening all the way through. Then the voicemails became desperate. I'm in AA now, 90 days sober. I'm trying, Walt. I'm really trying. I wish you could see that. Delete. 6 months sober. I got a new job. I'm putting my life back together. I want you to be part of it. Delete. 1 year. 1 year sober today. I wish I could celebrate with you. Delete. Eventually, the voicemails stopped being about apologies, or sobriety, or his progress. They became about memory. Remember when we were kids and we built that fort in the backyard? You insisted on using every blanket in the house, and Mom was so mad. Remember Dad's old truck? How we'd sit in the bed and look at the stars and talk about getting out of this town? Remember when I taught you to ride a bike? You were so scared, but you did it anyway. I was proud of you. I'd listen to those. I'd let them play all the way through, and I'd feel something crack inside me. Some small fissure in the wall I'd built. But I never called back, because I was still angry, still hurt, still convinced that holding on to my resentment was somehow the right thing to do. My wife, Catherine, tried to talk to me about it. You should call him back. No. Walter, he's your brother, your only brother. I'm aware. He's trying. He's been sober for years. He's apologized 1,000 times. What more do you want? I want him to not have lied to me. I want him to not have stolen from me. I want him to not have been the person he was. He's not that person anymore. People change. Do they? Or do they just hide it better for a while? Catherine would shake her head. Give me that look. The one that said she loved me, but thought I was being an idiot. Pride is going to cost you something you can't get back. He cost me $10,000. Money isn't the point, and you know it. Then what is the point? The point is that someday, maybe someday soon, you're going to regret this. You're going to wish you'd forgiven him. And it'll be too late. I didn't believe her. Couldn't imagine a scenario where I'd regret holding this boundary. Where I'd regret protecting myself from someone who'd hurt me. Catherine was right. She's always right. I just never listened. The call came on a Tuesday morning. I was making coffee. Catherine was getting ready for work. Normal day. Ordinary morning. My phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. But something, instinct, maybe your fate, made me pick up. Is this Walter Breslin? Yes. This is Detective Morrison with the city police. I'm calling about your brother, Thomas Breslin. My stomach dropped. Instantly. Completely. I knew. Before he said it, I knew. What happened? I'm sorry to inform you that your brother passed away. We believe it was a heart attack. A neighbor found him this morning. It appears he'd been deceased for approximately 48 hours. Deceased, such a clinical word. Distant word. Like Thomas was a case file, a report, a statistic. Not my brother. Not the kid who shared a bunk bed with me. Not the teenager who protected me. Not the man who called me every month for 8 years, trying to rebuild what I'd torn down. Deceased. Sir, are you there? Yes, I'm Yes. We'll need someone to identify the body, and there are arrangements to be made. Is there anyone else in the family? No, it's just me. Just me. The brother who hadn't spoken to him in 8 years. The brother who'd let every call go to voicemail. The brother who'd chosen pride over love. Just me. I went to the morgue that afternoon. Catherine came with me, held my hand in the waiting room. Didn't say I told you so, even though she had every right to. A woman in scrubs led us to a viewing room, explained what would happen, asked if I was ready. I wasn't. I'd never be ready. But I nodded. They pulled back the sheet, and there he was, Thomas, my brother, looking smaller than I remembered, older. His hair had gone gray at the temples. When had that happened? Had it been gray the last time I saw him 8 years ago? His face was peaceful. That's what people always say. He looks peaceful, like that makes it better somehow. But he did. He looked peaceful. More peaceful than I'd seen him in years. No pain, no anguish, no desperation. Just gone. Is this Thomas Michael Breslin? I couldn't speak, couldn't form words. Just nodded. Catherine squeezed my hand. They covered him again. Started explaining next steps. Paperwork, death certificate, funeral arrangements. I heard none of it. I was somewhere else, somewhere in the past, remembering. I remembered the first time Thomas saved me. I was 7. He was 10. We were at the community pool. I'd wandered into the deep end, couldn't swim well enough, started panicking, going under. Thomas saw, dove in, grabbed me, pulled me to the side. You're okay. I've got you. You're okay. I coughed up water, cried, clung to him. Always watch out for the deep end, Walt. It's dangerous if you're not ready. I remembered the time he took the blame for something I did. I'd broken one of Dad's tools, an expensive wrench. I was 12, scared to death of what would happen when Dad found out. Thomas found it first, saw my face, understood immediately. I'll tell him it was me. But he's going to be mad either way. Might as well be mad at me. I can handle it. Dad was furious, grounded Thomas for 2 weeks. Thomas never said a word, never told Dad the truth, took the punishment for me. I remembered graduating college. Thomas was in the audience, whistled when they called my name, embarrassed me in front of everyone. Afterwards, he hugged me. Proud of you, little brother. You got out. You made something of yourself. You could too. You could go to school. It's not too late. He smiled, but it was sad. Nah, that's your path. I'm good where I am. He wasn't, though. I could see it even then. See that he was stuck. See that he wanted more, but didn't believe he deserved it. I should have pushed. Should have encouraged him. Should have been the big brother for once. But I didn't. I took my degree and my new job, and I moved forward. And I left him behind. I remembered the good times. Road trips we took in his beat-up car. Music too loud, windows down, nothing but highway and freedom ahead. Late nights playing video games, pizza boxes on the floor, arguing about strategies and laughing until our sides hurt. Him teaching me to change a tire, to throw a punch, to talk to girls. All the big brother things. Holidays at Mom's house before she died. Thomas and me in the kitchen, sneaking food before dinner, getting yelled at, not caring. His face when he talked about Rachel, before the betrayal, when he was happy, when he thought he'd found his person. You'll be my best man, right? Of course. And you'll give a speech, make everyone cry with how wonderful I am. I'll give a speech. Can't promise tears. Good enough. That wedding never happened. That speech was never given. And now it never would be. They gave me his belongings. A plastic bag, wallet, keys, phone. The sum total of what he had on him when he died. I opened the wallet. $43. His driver's license. Needed to update that photo. He looked so young. a membership card to the gym, a receipt from a coffee shop, and a picture, worn, creased, folded and unfolded so many times the edges were soft. It was us, Thomas and me, maybe 20 years old, arms around each other, grinning at the camera, young and dumb and certain the world was ours for the taking. He'd carried that picture for 20 years. Through everything, through Rachel, through his breakdown, through his recovery, through 8 years of me refusing to speak to him. He carried it. I held that picture and I broke. Right there in the morgue hallway. Catherine holding me while I sobbed. While 8 years of anger and stubbornness and stupid, pointless pride cracked open and poured out. He'd tried. God, he'd tried. For 8 years he'd tried to reach me, to apologize, to rebuild, to be my brother again. And I'd shut him out every time, every call, every voicemail, every attempt. I'd shut him out because I was right, because he'd wronged me, because I deserved an apology, and I deserved to be the one who decided when things were okay again. And now, he was dead. And I'd never get to forgive him, never get to say, you messed up, but I love you anyway. You hurt me, but you're my brother, and that matters more. Never get to say, I'm sorry too. Sorry for abandoning you. Sorry for choosing pride over love. Sorry for wasting 8 years we could have had together. Never. I went to his apartment. The landlord let me in. Said Thomas had been a good tenant, quiet, paid rent on time, kept to himself. He seemed lonely, the landlord said, but nice, real nice. The apartment was small, studio, clean though, organized. Not the disaster I'd seen 8 years ago. He'd gotten his life together. Just like he'd said in those voicemails I'd deleted. Just like Catherine had tried to tell me. I walked through his space, opened drawers, looked in closets, tried to understand who my brother had become in the years I'd refused to know him. There were books, lots of books, recovery memoirs, self-help, philosophy, books on forgiveness and redemption and second chances. There were medals, AA chips, one for each year, 6 of them, 6 years sober, 6 years of fighting, 6 years of rebuilding himself. There was a journal, leather-bound, pages filled with his handwriting. I couldn't read it, couldn't violate that privacy even now. But I flipped through, saw my name on almost every page. He'd written about me, thought about me, missed me while I was pretending he didn't exist. On his nightstand, I found a letter, unsealed envelope, my name on it, in Thomas's handwriting. My hands shook as I opened it. Dear Walt, if you're reading this, I'm probably gone. Heart disease runs in the family. Dad died young. I've been having chest pains lately. Probably should see a doctor. Probably won't. I don't know how else to reach you. You won't answer my calls, won't respond to my voicemails. I get it. I hurt you, I lied to you. I took advantage of your kindness and threw it away. You have every right to be angry. But I need you to know some things. Things I should have said years ago, but didn't know how. I'm sorry. I'm so deeply, genuinely sorry for what I did. For gambling away the money you gave me. For lying about it. For being the mess I was and dragging you down with me. I was drowning back then. That's not an excuse, just a fact. After Rachel, I lost myself. Lost any sense of worth or purpose. I was angry at the world and taking it out on everyone, especially the people who love me most. You deserve better. You deserved a brother who was stable and reliable and didn't treat your kindness like a resource to exploit. I've been sober for 6 years now. In recovery, they teach you about making amends, about apologizing to the people you've hurt. I've tried with you. God knows I've tried. But I respect your boundary. I respect your choice to not have me in your life. Still, I need you to know, getting sober wasn't about winning you back. It was about becoming someone worthy of being your brother again. Someone Dad would have been proud of. Someone Mom would have recognized. I did it. I became that person. I wish you could see it. I wish you could see that I'm not the mess you walked away from 8 years ago. But even if you never see it, even if you never forgive me, I want you to know I love you. I've always loved you. You're my little brother, my best friend, the person who knew me better than anyone, and I'm sorry I let you down. I hope you're happy, Walt. I hope you have a good life. I hope you found someone to love who loves you back. I hope you're not carrying the weight of our fight the way I've been carrying it. If I die before I hear from you again, please know this. I forgive you for leaving, for staying away, for protecting yourself from me. You had every right, and I hold no resentment. I just miss you. God, I miss you. Your brother, Thomas. I read that letter 3 times. Standing in his small apartment, surrounded by the life he'd built without me. The life he'd rebuilt while I was busy being right. And I understood. Finally. Painfully understood. It was never about the money. It was never about the lie. It was about me needing to punish him. Needing to make him hurt the way I'd hurt. Needing him to understand what it felt like to be abandoned. And he did understand. He understood perfectly. He spent 8 years understanding, while I spent 8 years holding a grudge that accomplished nothing except stealing time we could have spent together. I collapsed on his bed, his small, carefully made bed, in his small, carefully organized apartment. And I cried. Cried for him. Cried for us. Cried for the 8 years we'd lost. Cried for the forgiveness I'd withheld and would never get the chance to give. Catherine found me there an hour later. She read the letter, cried with me, held me while I broke apart. He loved you, she said, right up until the end. He loved you. I know. And you loved him. I did. I do. I couldn't get past my anger. I couldn't let it go. And now he was gone. Now it was too late. Now I had to live with this for the rest of my life. The funeral was small. Just me and Catherine, a few people from his AA group who'd seen the obituary. His sponsor, a man named David who shook my hand and said Thomas talked about me all the time. Said I was his hero. His hero. I wasn't anyone's hero. I was the brother who abandoned him when he needed me most. The brother who chose being right over being there. I gave a eulogy, tried to anyway. Stood at the podium, looked at the handful of people, looked at the casket where my brother lay, and I couldn't speak, couldn't form words, couldn't articulate what Thomas meant to me, what he'd always meant, what I'd thrown away. Finally, I just said, he was my big brother. He protected me. He loved me, and I loved him. I just wish I'd told him that, before it was too late. That was all I could manage. We buried him next to our parents. Mom and Dad had been gone for years. Now the whole family was together again. Everyone, except me. I'm the last one left. It's been 3 years. 3 years of living with this. With the knowledge that I had a chance, so many chances, and I wasted them all. 3 years of listening to that final voicemail. That 30-second message that cuts off before he finishes his thought. Walter, it's me. I know you won't call back. I know you're still angry. But I need you to know something. I need you to know that I've imagined 1,000 endings to that sentence. I need you to know that I love you. I need you to know that I'm sorry. I need you to know that I forgive you. I need you to know that I'm dying. I need you to know that you were the best thing in my life. I need you to know that I never stopped being your brother. I'll never know what he was going to say. I'll never know what final message he was trying to leave me. All I know is that I wasn't there to hear it. Wasn't there when he needed me. Wasn't there at the end. Just like I hadn't been there for 8 years. I think about forgiveness now. More than I should. more than is probably healthy. I used to think forgiveness was something you gave to other people, a gift, a benediction, something they had to earn through sufficient apology and changed behavior. I used to think I had the right to withhold it, to make someone suffer until I decided they'd suffered enough, to hold them accountable indefinitely. I was wrong. Forgiveness isn't a gift you give someone else. It's a gift you give yourself. It's the release of anger, the letting go of resentment, the choice to stop carrying the weight of someone else's mistakes. Thomas didn't need my forgiveness to move forward. He forgave himself. He rebuilt his life. He became someone better. I was the one who needed to forgive. Not for him, for me. So I could stop carrying the anger. Stop wasting energy on resentment. Stop missing my brother while he was still alive. But I didn't understand that. Not until it was too late. Not until forgiveness became impossible, because there was no one left to forgive. I forgive him now, for what it's worth, for the lie, for the money, for being the mess he was when life broke him. I forgive him, but he's not here to know it. He died thinking I might never forgive him. Died hoping but not knowing. Died alone in his apartment because his brother was too stubborn to answer the phone. And that's on me. That's my burden. That's the thing I have to carry. I've tried to forgive myself. That's what the therapist says I need to do. You have to forgive yourself, Walter. You have to let go of the guilt. But how? How do you forgive yourself for something this big? For something this permanent? I had 8 years. 8 years to pick up the phone, to send a text, to drive across town and knock on his door. 8 years to say, I'm still angry, but I love you. I'm still hurt, but you're my brother. I need time, but I'm not abandoning you. 8 years, and I did nothing. I let pride win. Let stubbornness win. Let being right matter more than being human. And now he's gone, and I can't take it back. Can't undo it. Can't get one more chance to say all the things I should have said. The therapist says I'm punishing myself. Says I'm holding on to guilt because, in some twisted way, it keeps me connected to Thomas. As long as I feel guilty, he's still here, still real, still part of my life. Maybe that's true. Maybe I'm afraid that if I let go of the guilt, I'll lose him completely. Lose the last connection I have to my brother. But I've already lost him. The guilt doesn't bring him back. It just makes me suffer. And Thomas wouldn't want that. He'd want me to let go, to move forward, to live. He said as much in his letter. I hope you're not carrying the weight of our fight the way I've been carrying it. But I am. I'm carrying it. And I don't know how to put it down. I talk to him sometimes, out loud, in my car, in the shower, late at night when Catherine's asleep. I tell him things about my day, about Catherine, about the memories that surface when I'm not expecting them. I apologize, over and over. I'm sorry, Thomas. I'm so sorry. I should have called you back. I should have been there. I should have been a better brother. Sometimes I imagine what he'd say back. His voice, his tone. It's okay, Walt. I forgive you. I always forgave you. Stop beating yourself up. You did what you thought was right. I'm proud of you for trying to do better now. But it's not real. It's just me. Just my voice in my head, saying the things I wish he'd say. The absolution I wish I could receive. The truth is, I'll never know if he forgave me. Never know if he died angry or sad or at peace with our estrangement. All I know is what he wrote in that letter. I forgive you for leaving, for staying away, for protecting yourself from me. I read those words every night. Keep the letter by my bed. There's a voicemail on my phone that I can't bring myself to delete. It's been 3 years. 3 years since Thomas died. 3 years since I learned that some words, once left unsaid, stay unsaid forever. I listen to it almost every day. This 30-second fragment of my brother's voice. This incomplete message. This final attempt to reach me that I ignored. Walter, it's me. I know you won't call back. I know you're still angry. But I need you to know something. I need you to know that I used to wonder what came next. Used to try to fill in the blank. Used to torture myself with all the possible endings. But now I think I know. Now, after 3 years of living with this, I think I understand what he was trying to say. He was trying to say, I need you to know that I love you, that I've always loved you, that 8 years of silence doesn't change that nothing changes that. He was trying to say, I forgive you, for being angry, for staying away, for choosing yourself over us. I understand, and it's okay. He was trying to say, you're my brother. Nothing changes that. Not time, not distance, not silence. You'll always be my brother. That's what I choose to believe. That in those final days, when he felt his heart struggling, when he knew something was wrong, he called me one last time, not to guilt me, or beg me, or demand anything. He called to release me, to tell me he loved me, to make sure I knew, even if I never answered, even if I never forgave him, that he had forgiven me. That's who Thomas was, even at the end, even after everything, still trying to take care of his little brother, still trying to protect me, even from my own guilt. Last month, I went back to Thomas's grave. I go regularly now, once a month, bring flowers, sit on the brass, talk to him. It's become a ritual, a way of maintaining connection, a way of not letting him slip away completely. This time, I brought something different. The picture, the one from his wallet, us at 20, arms around each other, grinning like idiots. I'd had it copied and framed. Put one copy in my office where I can see it every day. Reminder of who we were, who we should have stayed. The other copy I brought to him. I sat there on the grass, holding this picture, looking at his headstone. Thomas Michael Breslin, 1970, 2021, beloved brother, beloved brother. I'd chosen those words, had them engraved, because it was true. He was beloved, by me, even when I couldn't show it, even when I let anger override love. He was beloved. I brought you something, I said out loud. Didn't care if anyone heard. Didn't care if I looked crazy. Remember this picture? You carried it for 20 years. I found it in your wallet. The wind rustled through the trees. A bird sang somewhere nearby. I'm sorry I wasn't there, Thomas. I'm sorry for all of it. For leaving, for staying away, for being too stubborn to see what actually mattered. You were right, you know. In your letter, you said you missed me. I missed you too. Every single day. I just couldn't admit it. Couldn't let go of being right long enough to remember that I loved you. My voice cracked. I didn't try to stop it. I forgive you. I know you can't hear me. I know it's too late, but I need to say it anyway. I forgive you for the money, for the lies, for being broken when life broke you. I forgive all of it. And I'm sorry it took me so long. I'm sorry you died not knowing. The bird kept singing. The wind kept blowing. The world kept turning. And I sat there, crying, talking to a piece of granite that marked where my brother's body rested.